Coraline has a door that is bricked up. And one day she goes through the door, and it is a corridor. It's no longer bricked up. And on the other side of the door, she finds herself in a room in an apartment that's a lot like the one that she left. And waiting for her there is her other mother.
Mom? What are you doing here in the middle of the night?
You're just in time for supper, dear.
And her other mother is a lot like the one that she left, only she has big black buttons for eyes. And initially everything seems like it's a much more interesting and much more cool place. And then she realizes that the other mother wants to keep her. And that's where the trouble starts.
The Coraline really jumped out at us in the sense that it was a very successful young girl's book, and it was really a story that I think appeals to almost everybody. And then Henry Selick, who is one of our most creative people, and one of the early hires here when it became Leica, was enthralled by the story, and all of those things came together to have that be our first project. And I would have to say that I had high expectations for it, and as I sit here today, it's gone beyond those expectations.
Absolutely everything you see on the screen, somebody's made. Every blade of grass has been painted or built. Every tree. They've got rooms where they're painting trees. And everything, if we see it, they've made it, and they've made it at, tiny, tiny scale. I also hadn't realized how small everything was. I think I'd somehow assumed that, the stop motion stuff would be sort of that big or whatever, and you're going, no, they're that big, and the rats are that big, and there's a frog that's that big, and they're making dolls that are that big, and it all has its little wireframe. But it's the idea that everything has to be made, everything has to be thought out, everything has to be designed and signed off on. It's astonishing.
It is an unbelievable level of artistic, genius. All these craftsmen who can create these puppets and move them frame by, tiny bit by tiny bit, and how it's all shot. I mean, it's magnificent. So to get to be involved in that is so wonderful.
Stop motion animation is a special type of animation where we use real things, such as these puppets, and shoot them like in a real movie, live action, but we shoot them only one frame at a time. And you pose them 24 times a second, taking single frames, and when you play that back at normal speed, it gives the illusion of them coming to life.
I honestly am so still taken aback by the costumes, because they're like everybody's clothes just totally miniaturized, and the teeny gloves and the teeny sweaters and the vest. It's like, it's so amazing that somebody can actually sew those, and they have to put the wire and everything so they move. And I think that's probably what struck me the most, was the wardrobe, and also what goes into just making the model and the silicone and how they move, and the eyebrows raise and the chins move and everything. It's incredible.
There's a lot of detail involved in what we do, but it's actually the reason we're here. We're all detail-minded people. We all want to work on small-scale things. Our training, the people that are on the team, we've got people from a jewelry background, we've got people who are painter illustrators, who are designing, when they're at college, a lot of illustrators just sit there and design characters all day long for stories like Coraline. So when you're actually able to paint those in 3D, it's great.
Seeing, I guess, the handcrafted sets and the characters and Otherworld, which is such a magical place, you're gonna see like a lot of sights that are just like really beautiful and that pop out at you, and it's gonna be just a really great visual experience.
It's very exciting to come out and watch the movie being made, because you see the script and you kind of imagine what it's going to be like, But when you come out and you see the sets come to life, when you see the little puppets come to life, it really is, it's really inspiring.
До свидания, Caroline.
Coraline.